How you do that there? How you do that there? I am your man's Nic Rattlehead, and behind this camera, somewhere out in California, is my man's with the master plan 100 grand. Only you, me, and God knows how much I love this guy, man. Ooh, tell him what your name is.
Matt the Graff.
Matt the Graff, and we would like to collectively welcome you guys to Aftershock Reviews, your place for the best extreme music reviews, man. And today I have some hardcore punk. Ooh, bro, and I have been excited to talk about this one. This one is called Impenetrable Cerebral Fortress by California's Gulch. Now, this album is great. Let's just go ahead and just start off with that. This album is wonderful. This album is unhinged, but at the same time, it feels like as chaotic as this album can be, right? It feels measured. It feels like it's in control. It kind of feels like the Joker a little bit, right? Where he is injecting chaos into Gotham, right? But to me, he's doing it with a very purposeful way, right? Like, he has a purpose for doing all of what he's doing. And I feel like it's the same thing here for Gulch, right? Because when it comes to a lot of the lyrical content, right, it walks hand in hand with how the album sounds sonically. Because to me, what I really think this album is about is embracing indulgence, right? And what I mean by that is I really do think that this album is about saying, hey, in life, you're going to have a lot of opportunities to do whatever the heck you want to do. So do it. And a lot of those moments are going to be fleeting. A lot of those moments are going to be, only like a split second. So don't let them pass you by. Kind of like what do they call it? Like a doest thou wilt type of thing, right? And you're going to hear a lot of that when it comes to a lot of the tracks, when it comes into this track listing. But let's go ahead and start with the way that it sounds. Because holy cow, I love, first and foremost, the guitar tone. The guitar tone, it makes your skin crawl. It makes you uncomfortable. It kind of messes with your stomach a little bit, right? To the point where here it is. I got it. It feels like they rip all of the veins smooth from your arm and then started tremolo picking with them, right? And it feels like your teeth are part of the drummer's kit, right? And it just starts smacking you with it as he's doing all of his skank beats, which there are plenty of here. Plenty of. That guitar tone is nasty. That guitar tone is gnarly. That guitar tone is disruptive and off kilter, but it's so wonderful. There's a good bit of buzz and a good bit of fuzz to it. It's great. And the percussionist. Ooh, the percussionist. See, here's the thing. Now, when it comes to a lot of hardcore punk, sometimes the percussionist will be there, but his kick drum won't resonate, right? Because at this point, I don't know if it's really for that. There are a few instances where it does resonate. Let's say for Code Orange, it does resonate. For Year of the Knife, it does resonate. Here, though, it's like the kick drum, like the head for the kick drum pedal is aimed at your gut. And it's just the entire time. It's wonderful. It's good. It's impactful. And it's there when you need it. It's great. It's absolutely great. But let's get really into the track listing, because now we're going to talk about the title track for this album. Now, the title track comes off with this great percussion solo, right? And then we get into this blast beat into a skank beat into a blast beat, and then it kind of slows down, and then it goes into a groove back to our skank beat. See, this is the type of things that I'm talking about, where it feels like there's a lot of chaos going on, because not only is the guitar doing this great punchy chord progression into the screech of the guitar strings that we discussed earlier when we were talking about our Caged review, which I highly do suggest you go back and watch. See, self-advertising. But it has that screech of the guitar strings, and it has these great chord progressions. But while the guitarist is doing 4 different things, the percussionist is doing 4 different things as well within the span of like a minute and a couple of seconds. Because to put this in perspective, this album is 16 minutes. That's it. That's all. It's in and it's out. It's just as fleeting as the moments that it's trying to get you to embrace. And it is absolutely wonderful for it. So once we get past the blitzkrieg of the title track, it starts to kind of fade with this march that leads into the next track, Cries of Pleasure, Heavenly Pain, right? Yet and still, we're talking about like indulgence and grasping the moment that you're able to like do what your flesh wants to do. Which is why they're saying cries of pleasure. It's almost like your skin is crying for you to quell its thirst, to put out its fire, right? Ooh, the fire of lust or things like that. So we're getting in here. We're in your mind, bro. This thing's got layers. It's great. It's wonderful. It's great. But to me, one of the best moments of this album is called All Fall Down the Well. Now, here's the thing. This vocalist, his name is Elliot Morrow. He's got a way of shrieking. I'm not calling it yelling. I'm not calling it screaming. It is shrieking to the point where it pierces the mix like a hot knife through butter. It pierces the mix. It's not a game. And it's impressive, really, because like I said, there's so much going on with the guitarist, and there's so much going on with the percussion, and there's so much going on with the atmosphere that has a lot of like background noise littered throughout it, right? The fact that Elliot can pierce all of this, right? And then almost make his voice the central focus of each track is highly impressive. Now, the thing that I will say is too, sometimes he's intelligible. Like there's sometimes where you can actually make out what he's saying, and there's sometimes that you can't, but I think he understands that at some point you need to hear what I'm saying to get the message of this album. And there's other parts where I think he's saying my voice is just as much as an instrument as that guitar or that bass or that percussion. Therefore, I shall treat it like such. And there will be times where it sounds like he's gagging, or there will be times like he sounds like he's just flat out vomiting, or there's times where it feels like he is like this manic demon straight from the 9th ring of hell. And each time he does that, it really does, instead of detracting from it and being distracting, it actually adds to the ambiance of the track, which is great. But like I said before, he also knows that, hey, you need to get the real gist of this album. Case in point, I'm going to pull up a lyric here. And the lyric is from Effing Towards Salvation. We're on YouTube, not going to really, say what it, but you know what I meant. Effing Towards Salvation. And I think here is where we really do get the central focus of this album with this lyric here. Fulfillment of all fantasies, true salvation found when buried deep inside. The body shakes upon release, dripping, hell-bent for pleasure, calling out to God, craving asphyxiation, effing towards salvation. Yeah, bro. It's like, it's literally saying at this point, if your flesh or your body is burning for something, if you feel like you really want to go out and do what it is, don't worry about if it's a sin or not, go do it. Now, that's a strong message to give anybody. But what I'm saying is that's the focus of what's going on here, right? And it's reinforced at the end of the album with the song Sin in My Heart. Now, Sin in My Heart is something where it's like I have like a love-hate relationship with that song, because I think the instrumentation is wonderful, right? Because it starts out slower and a bit more somber, almost silent or like, right? And it starts to creep up on you until Elliot starts screaming, "Sin in my heart! Sin in my heart! Sin in my heart!" And he's at some point he even says like flies like a dart, and I'm like, okay, fine. And that's where I have my problem, because how repetitive that lyric is can sometimes be a little bit grating to me, right? And then like rhyming "sin in my heart" flies like a dart. I was like, sure, you know what I mean? To me, that's like on the same level of like, how now, brown cow, but like I say, it's a love-hate relationship, because I don't hate the track, right? I think, especially with this being your final track off this album. I think lyrically, you could have done a little bit more to kind of avoid some of that, almost like elementary rhyming, to make the lyrics a little bit stronger and fully bring home the idea of the album. But like I said, I don't hate the track. It's just kind of like you kind of found a ding in your car. You know what I mean? It's a nice car. You just bought like a Ford Mustang or something like that. But you find out that there's a ding on the car somewhere. And that's how I kind of feel when it comes to this track. But that being said, it's still a good track. And it's still a good album. This album really, to me, is a shot of adrenaline to the arm with a message on the back burner, right? And I think that's a really good thing to do, because sometimes when there is a central idea to an album, sometimes an artist can kind of beat you over the head with it, trying to get you to understand the point they're trying to get across. But here I think it's done tastefully. And here I think at the same time, the music never takes a back seat to that. This is a good album. This is a great album. This is a great slice of hardcore punk that we would need in 2020. This is good. This is good. The name of this album, again, is called Impenetrable Cerebral Fortress by California's Gulch. And this is out now on Closed Casket Activities. You can go on their Bandcamp and give it a listen. I'll have a link for that in the description below. Matter of fact, Matt will have a description for that in the link below. And then we'll also have a link for you for their Spotify as well. Go out. I think their vinyl you might be able to get. I'm not sure if it's sold out just yet, but if it isn't, go pick up a vinyl. And like I said, and even buy the not the physical copy, but the digital copy of it. I think it's like $7 or something else like that. Do that, because this is worth it. This is a great album. I am your man's Nic Rattlehead, and behind this camera is my man's with the master plan $100,000. Oh, I love you, man. Tell him what your name is one more time. Matt the Graff. Matt the Graff. Ooh. Wash your hands. Support your bands. Peace.